as the Deputy Attorney General, was serving as Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer in his the criminal cases that Donald Trump was facing last year. Todd Blanche lost the one case that went to trial, and he still delighted in his failing final argument to the jury, in which he called the prosecution witness, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former lawyer, the greatest liar of all time. Here is criminal defense lawyer Todd Blanche, after losing that trial last year, talking about that trial with Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal defense lawyer, who Todd Blanche spent the day with today.
Last thing about the closing. So you called him the MVP of liars. I love the gloat line, of course.
You love it because you gave it to me, David. Saves the world. It was genius, David. And I mean, in all seriousness, to you, I know a lot of people that have worked with you. I know a lot of people who know you very well. I now consider you a friend, and someone who I know pretty well. You are by far the best out there, and I'll always say yes to this podcast.
Those two friends met today in what is the first time in Justice Department history that a Deputy Attorney General seized a case away from the prosecutor handling the case after firing that prosecutor last week, Maureen Comey, and then taking it upon himself to go have a meeting with a convicted sex trafficker who was also charged with perjury. There is absolutely no legitimate basis for such a meeting with the Deputy Attorney General, former criminal defense lawyer for Donald Trump, who gave every appearance today of still functioning as, in effect, Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer. Could Todd Blanche have any other purpose in talking to Ghislaine Maxwell than trying to get her to say something positive about his client, Donald Trump? Todd Blanche tweeted today, I met with Ghislaine Maxwell, and I will continue my interview of her tomorrow. The Department of Justice will share additional information about what we learned at the appropriate time. Ghislaine Maxwell, as a lawyer, said this after the strangest meeting a criminal defense lawyer has ever had with a Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Good to see you all. How's it going? Great.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. We had a very productive day today with the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and Ghislaine Maxwell. First, we want to thank the Deputy Attorney General for being so professional with all of us and for meeting with us. He took a full day and asked a lot of questions, and Ms. Maxwell answered every single question. She never stopped, she never invoked a privilege, she never declined to answer. She answered all the questions truthfully, honestly, and to the best of her ability. And that's all the comment we're going to have today about the meeting.
And so tonight, the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, who were in middle school and high school when Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell raped them together, have more to fear tonight from Ghislaine Maxwell thanks to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer offered Ghislaine Maxwell what? Exactly what? To answer his questions today. Ghislaine Maxwell, who never testified in her own defense in her criminal trial, knowing she was facing a possible 20 years in prison, suddenly decided today that she would talk to a criminal prosecutor for the first time in her life. She could have done that when she and Jeffrey Epstein were both charged for those crimes, but she didn't. She fled. She was hiding out in New Hampshire when she was tracked down by federal agents and apprehended. And even though she was facing a federal criminal trial in which she knew there wasn't one word of testimony that she could give to that jury under oath that wouldn't make the case against her even worse. That's what she knew. That's why criminal defendants like Ghislaine Maxwell don't testify. If Ghislaine Maxwell thought for a second that she could have helped herself with the jury, with even one juror, by testifying, she would have testified. But she knew, and her criminal defense attorney knew, that the testimony against Ghislaine Maxwell by her victims, who she personally raped, along with Jeffrey Epstein, She didn't just lure them into being raped by Jeffrey Epstein. She joined Jeffrey Epstein in the room and joined personally in raping those girls. She knew that that testimony against her in court was something she could not possibly overcome. And so she didn't say a word. She decided there's nothing that she could say under oath to counter that testimony. But today, according to her lawyer, she answered every question. She never stopped. She never invoked privilege. What did Todd Blanche offer her to make her suddenly decide she was safe with Donald Trump's former criminal defense attorney? Why did Ghislaine Maxwell decide today that she could tell Donald Trump's former criminal defense attorney anything, and it couldn't possibly get her in more trouble? Here is what Bradley Edwards, the lawyer for hundreds of Epstein and Maxwell victims, told us last night.
One thing that has really alarmed our clients, particularly today, is the information that now Ghislaine Maxwell is being visited in jail, and that she is somehow being given some credibility and a platform on this particular topic. I think what people are forgetting is that Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't only indicted on sex trafficking charges. Ghislaine Maxwell, because of testimony she gave on multiple occasions in the civil cases where we sued her, she provided testimony, and as a consequence of false testimony, she was indicted on 2 perjury counts on this particular topic. So we're going to go and ask somebody to tell the truth who was indicted on perjury charges related to this particular topic. Now, does she have information that could potentially help? Yes. Will she be truthful about it? Who knows? But whoever is going to be the questioner, whoever's going to be the interrogator, must know more than just a rudimentary understanding of the case. You have to have seen her other deposition transcripts to know what she said so that you can keep her in line. You have to know her testimony from her criminal trial to keep her in line, and you have to understand the case. Sending somebody there that knows nothing, she's going to say whatever she wants to say. And what's her incentive? Is her incentive because she's going to get a deal? I have many clients who say, look, President Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell were good friends back then. Is he going to commute her? Is he going to pardon her? And I have said to them, look, I know that you feel like an afterthought right now. I know that you feel like you don't matter. For him to do that would be, he thought about you and he decided you do not matter.
Good friends back then. Donald Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell were good friends, and it looks like Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer and Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal defense lawyer are trying to make them good friends once again.